We go back to the summit in Havana, where Gladys Quesada is now ready to bring us the latest updates of the G77 and China summit, which has already kicked off. Tell us, Gladys, what's the latest news?
Thanks, Adeneb, for this time and also this second time in From the South and teleSUR English. We are here, we are still in the briefing room, but we have more details of what is happening and what is just taking place in this summit of the G77 and China. In this case, the president of Cuba, the president also of this summit, offered the opening remarks for all the guests and the attendees. In his speech, he stressed the humble core and the humble nature of this summit that is taking place in Cuba, mainly because of the hardships and the economic liabilities that the island is facing. Let's recall the island last year had several events that turned the economy, and also the island is also under the heaviest grip of the blockade of the U.S. The president recalled all of this, but he also made other remarks, other statements that gave a paramount, an overview of this summit and this gathering. First of all and foremost, he recalled the presence, the legacy, and the path that set other leaders in this summit and in this group. That's to say, Hugo Chavez from Venezuela and the historical leader of the Cuban Revolution, Fidel Castro Ruz. Also, the president of Cuba said something that was the core, or is the core of this gathering, is that the Global South also exists. The Global South is here, the Global South is willing to be a decisive part of the decision-making gatherings in the world, and also the economies. Also, the president of Cuba recalled how this nation, this island, humble island, had a key participation in combating the COVID-19 pandemic, and how technology and sustainable development are one of the premises of the gathering and also for Cuba. The president of Cuba also stressed that the North-South cooperation is paramount, but the Global South is going to have a decisive role, not only just as a passive subject in this equation, but also as an active subject and actor in this. Also, he stressed that cooperation and solidarity among the global nations in the South is paramount. Not competition, not dominance, not hegemony, just cooperation, solidarity, and finding the strengths, the potential, and also how every country can just help the other and help itself in this race to save the planet and to save the political alliances that have been taking place. Also, he called for the democratization of technologies. Let's recall that the president said in his remarks that technology have been weaponized by the North and the Western powers against the poorer nations and against those in disadvantage. And recall that during the pandemic, all the drug companies and all the health big pharma had the power and weaponized this against the poorer countries and concentrated all the vaccines and were not in a position of equality, in a position to share their knowledge. And he was very, very emphatical in this. Also, the General Secretary of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, offered remarks, and he stressed that the Global South has to come together to face what has been a historical disadvantage, what has been neocolonialism, and what has been dominance. Now the heads of state and all the attendees to this summit are taking the family photo that is going to be part of the evidence of this summit, this gathering, and later it is expected more events and more gatherings and that the debate sessions start. For now, this is all in this moment with you, and we will be here to offer you more information and more details with you.
Gladys Quesada reporting for us from the Convention Palace. Thanks, Gladys Quesada.